This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Okay, so I have to start this video off by saying that advanced can mean a lot of different things to people. Not everyone is going to agree with where exactly we should draw that line, and that's totally okay. By your standards, you might not consider me an advanced player either, and that's also okay. All I want to do in this video is share the 4 things that when I was stuck on that intermediate plateau allowed me to get a whole lot better. So the topic of advanced guitarist has kind of been trending lately because recently Cory Wong, who, if you don't know him, definitely check him out, his playing is awesome, said that guitarists shouldn't consider themselves advanced unless they can play any note on command, like being able to play a C note instantly on every string. This sparked a lot of conversation and definitely a little controversy around what it actually means to be advanced. So before getting into the 4 big tips I have for you, let's start by going over what I think makes an advanced player. They can improvise across the fretboard in every major and minor key. They have mastery and expert knowledge of at least one genre. They should be able to quickly access all the most important scales and chords in every key. They could be thrown into a completely on-the-spot musical scenario and come out sounding great, meaning their ear would need to be well trained. Their technique doesn't have any obvious holes. This would be things like inaccurate bends, or pulling strings slightly out of tune unintentionally, or lack of muting unwanted string noise. They would know the fundamentals of music theory and understand how music is made. Their playing would be precise, nuanced, and have feel, so a great sense of rhythm and good attention to detail with things like smooth vibrato, slides, and ghost notes. They have developed their own unique voice on the instrument where people who know them could pick out their playing from a crowd. They have confidence in their playing, but are also well aware of where they might lack. And lastly, they should have a framework in place for navigating the entire fretboard. So I'm going to agree with Cory Wong and say they should probably be able to play every note on command. I don't think it needs to be instantaneous, but they should be able to figure it out pretty quick. What you'll probably notice is that a lot of the stuff I listed is pretty open to interpretation. I didn't say things like you need to know the cage system, or you need to be able to sweep pick through all your minor 7 arpeggios at 400 BPM. This is because an advanced metal player is going to look way different from an advanced country player. And I think when you do get to this point, the absolute must-know things are well behind you, and it's a lot more about finding what works for you and carving your own creative path as a musician. But if you disagree, feel free to let me know in the comments. So let's get into those things that really made a difference for me. The first one is that your ear is your biggest asset. So many of us rely heavily on tabs and chord charts to get by, and there comes a point where all those things are doing is holding you back. You're playing with your eyes instead of your ears, and music is something we listen to. Having a good ear opens up a whole new world of things you can do as a guitar player, especially if creativity is your goal. I mean, your ear is straight up going to tell you if something sounds good or not. So learning things like recognizing intervals and chords is a good place to start. Also learning how to find the key of a song or the chords of a song by ear as well. And eventually you can get into trying to figure out guitar parts or solos by ear too. All of those are going to go a long way in developing this skill. But honestly, one of the best and definitely the most fun ways to develop your ear is just by sitting with a scale and playing around with it over your favorite songs. Every song is in a key, so that means there's a position to fit every scale. Whether it's a major scale or a pentatonic scale, just put it in position and go to town for as many hours as you can. So this can be as simple as just using this tiny major scale shape here. Or if you know a bigger pentatonic shape, or if you know more shapes across the fretboard, you can feel free to play around with those too. This is exactly what I personally did to become a completely by-ear guitar player, and I don't regret a minute of it. Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace, and if you've ever thought about creating your own website, no one does it better or makes it easier. It all starts with finding the right name for your site, and Squarespace Domains gives you everything you need to find your perfect domain and keep it safe with their top-of-the-line privacy and security tools. Squarespace features every cutting-edge design tool you need to easily build a site that feels like it fits your style, and they've even got AI tools that allow you to create a fully custom website in just a few clicks. They also have built-in SEO tools to make sure everything is properly optimized and being seen by as many people as possible on search engines. So if you're ready to get started, go to squarespace.com/AndrewClarke to start your free trial and get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That link will be in the description and in the pinned comment. All right, big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it. It's okay to keep it simple. I know everyone on the internet loves to tell you how important it is to learn more, the next complex pattern or new jazzy diminished chord voicing. But the reality is that most of the best music is simple and thoughtful. Being a master with bar chords, triads, pentatonics, and the major scale is so much more effective than trying to jam every crazy chord voicing or modal scale into a musical idea. And back in the day, I totally let myself be convinced that what I was good at was never enough to really be taken seriously, which resulted in me wasting so much time trying to overcomplicate something that didn't need it just to impress some random music snobs. At the end of the day, it's our job to serve the music and create something that people actually want to listen to. And most of the time, that's best done with a killer execution of something simple. This isn't so much of a guitar example, but I always think of that one video of a drummer completely overplaying at a church service.
For I am yours, and you are mine. And you are mine.
It's so good, and a good reminder that more complicated usually isn't better. So slow down, don't get distracted, and spend more time mastering those fundamentals that you'll actually be using 99% of the time. Next up, precision over everything else. The very first thing I notice when I watch or listen to another guitar player is how precise they are. I don't really care what arpeggio, scale, chord, or melody they're playing. It's how they're playing it that really grabs my attention first and tells me what type of player they are. But when I was learning, I had no idea this was something I actually needed to focus on. And it really comes down to three things: muscle memory, good technique, and a great sense of timing. Now, muscle memory comes from being hyper familiar with what you're playing, which is just another reason to put your effort into mastering fewer things and not spreading yourself too thin. Good technique is obvious. Are your movements accurate and efficient? Are you muting properly? Is there sloppiness or buzzing in your playing? The rhythm part is really what brings it all together. Are you placing that chord or note or phrase exactly where you want it to be in the music? Because someone with a great sense of timing can choose if they want their playing to land a little in front of the beat, right on the beat, or a little behind the beat. They have that control, and we want that level of control as well. Now, all of this is much easier said than done, but the muscle memory and technique will develop naturally over time as you work on your other skills. The rhythm part, on the other hand, does require some major intentional practice. So a couple of things that you can do: grab your guitar and turn on a playlist of your favorite songs, mute all of your strings, and practice following the drum pattern as best you can with muted strums. You'll also want to do this same exercise with individual strings as well. Another great exercise is to play something, whether it's a song, a chord progression, or a scale, along to a metronome. Start at full speed and go through it for a minute or so. Then cut the metronome speed in half and play the same thing again. Your playing will stay at the same speed, but the metronome will now be clicking every other beat. Then you'll cut the metronome speed in half again, still playing the part at the same speed, but now it'll only click every 4 beats, requiring your internal clock to fill in the rest of the space and pick up the slack. And don't be afraid to record yourself as you go through these exercises so you can look back and pick out where you're not sounding as precise as you'd like to. And finally, your ego is your biggest enemy. Nothing hurt me more in my time on the guitar than my own ego. Learning something hard is humbling. Really humbling. And if you don't learn to leave your ego at the door, it's only gonna find ways to fight against you. It's so easy to constantly compare yourself to everyone else around you, especially in the age of highly edited and produced TikTok and Instagram videos. And your relationship with the guitar is just gonna flip from positive to negative depending on who you compare yourself to. I'm a pretty competitive person, and I remember countless guitar rivalries that I made up in my head when I was in school. I remember getting so upset when one of these guys would play something more impressive than I could, and it just made me go, well, I suck, time to give up. And I'd put my guitar away for weeks. What good does that do? It just makes me lose all my forward momentum. Guitar isn't a race or a competition. We're all on our own paths and shouldn't worry about how much better or worse we are than the player next to us. So I'm gonna keep the camera rolling here and make a follow-up video to go up over on my Patreon. If you wanna come and join us, there'll be a link to that in the description. Otherwise, I think you'll like this lesson on my 7 biggest aha moments while learning guitar. I'll put a link to that up in the middle of the screen for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.